Hey, and welcome to the Love County Coaches Show. Bryson here with you. Real quick, want to thank the Taste for having us out here at the restaurant, first and foremost here on the Coaches Show, the Love County Coaches Show. It's weeks, what, 8?
Week six.
Week 6? No, 7.
7, yes.
Yeah,
Week
I
seven.
don't know. It's one of those
We're
weeks.
behind. They
Anyway,
all run together.
hey,
It's
real
actually
quick.
week 12.
It's actually week 12, yeah. And we would like to thank the Taste for having us out, of course. Come down and watch the show sometime live. We had a big, oh my God, a big crowd last week, Connor, and would love to have another one here. We'd also like to thank the Marietta Monitor, Quality Printing and Design, your Oklahoma Farm Bureau agent, Sam Barrick, Arbuckle Title and Abstract, American Nation Bank, and the 20 MSP for being on the show. Mark Barrett's with me of the Thackerville Wildcats. And, Coach, you're averaging 71 points a game right now in district play, so I'm sure you're pretty happy, right?
Oh, yeah. That's,
Not much to practice whenever you're averaging 71 points a game.
yeah, but dadgummit, we're giving up 21.
Yeah,
So on
exactly.
defense's side.
And you're the DC, right?
And I'm the DC, so
Yeah.
it kind of ticks me off a little bit.
Little bit, absolutely.
But no, hey, that happens in 8-man ball. You're going to
Yeah.
give up. That's the equivalent of giving up a couple of touchdowns in 11-man. So
Well, I've never had an 8-man coach laugh at this. I'll say it anyway because 8-man's like basketball on turf, and you had a basketball score this week, 81-34 against
81-34.
Maysville.
Yes.
And Maysville, not a bad team. Obviously, they put up 34 points.
Mhm.
You were just explaining a minute ago, explain to them, you guys kind of were having to go teeter with that mercy rule. You were trying to mercy, and then they kind of were coming back there at the end of the game.
Well, we were just trying to get the win is what we needed, but and get our 15 points. But yeah, in 8-man, you have a mercy rule. So when we're on the road, we, if we have that opportunity, we'd like to just, get, the 45,
be home before midnight.
Yeah, get 45 and get out of there safe and sound and nobody hurt, get on the bus and come back home.
Yeah.
And we were trying to do that. And, they would break a big play. Our guys would miss a tackle or they would zig when they should have zagged and they break one for 60. And so now we're like, hey, now we got to go get another one,
Absolutely.
which is a good thing because it's that's that confidence that the offense has of, hey, we gave up a touchdown. So, hey, let's just go get another one.
Absolutely.
So, that's a good thing.
It was 81-34. You guys are on a roll. It's like I said, you guys are averaging 71 points per game. Whenever we were walking in here, you mentioned to me that you've been on both sides of this, and it's got to be exciting. Are you able to enjoy it in the moment? I know coaches get kind of lost in the sauce, right?
yeah, we get lost. And you enjoy it, but you also know, you see those things that you're having to need to fix, because they scored or, we didn't score, whatever. So that kind of goes through your mind at the same time. But, oh, yeah, it's always great when you're enjoying a big win like that.
So talk to me about that. What's practice been like this week, and what do you think you guys need to fix? Not a lot, but what do you need to fix?
Well, we did correct some of those things, and it takes sometimes, showing the kids on film exactly what, one example is one thing that my linebackers were doing where they were over pursuing the other night, and they were flowing to the ball, but yet the running back would see that and they would cut back, and there's a cutback lane there, and they would break it for 60. So I had to go back and re-explain to my linebackers, that, hey, if the ball's going away from you, you've got to slow play everything and be there in that cutback lane. If it's to you, you're coming downhill. And, it refreshed their memory, and they're like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that, Coach.
Sure, absolutely.
So, those are just some little things we worked on this week to fix. Coming into the big game against Maud, this is for the district title probably. So
before we talk about that, I do want to, in typical coach fashion, you got to get the bad stuff out first. But talk to me about the good stuff. You guys scored 81 points. So obviously Justice Rodriguez was on fire. Let's talk about the performance by the Wildcats.
Yeah, a great offensive performance the other night. Justice was on fire. He rushed for about 136 yards, running some option. Austin Tyree was, probably our player of the game. He rushed for 230 yards and I think 4 touchdowns.
Is this an 8-man field or?
It was a 100-yard field. Wow. It was a 100-yard field.
Wow.
So he rushed for 230 yards. Justice Rodriguez had 130. Aziz Hernandez rushed for right at 100 and 4 touchdowns, and Austin Tyree also had about 60 yards receiving, and he ran a 75-yard kickoff return back, and he kicked a field goal. So
That's the most surprising part
Yes.
about it for me. I don't think I've
Yes.
seen that in 8-man
Well,
before.
neither had Maysville. We lined up, and their guys were going, "Are you guys actually going to kick a field goal?"
You know
You
what?
could
I
hear
take
'em.
that back. I saw Shattuck kick a field goal
Oh,
one time.
yeah.
But anyway, no, that's
Yeah, so Maysville was surprised, and they were waiting for a fake, and they were actually surprised when we actually kicked the ball and it went through the uprights. So, you know,
81-34.
it was a good night.
The final score there. It sounds like it. And this week, though, you kind of previewed it. Big game, 6-1 mod, and is that home or away?
It's at home. It's at Thacker.
Okay, so need a big crowd there.
Yes,
We need
yes.
Love
And
County
it's
to show
pink
up
out
for
night,
those guys.
so we're
Yeah,
gonna have
absolutely.
Pink out support, the breast cancer thing going on. So
This is a premier matchup in Oklahoma this week. I
Yes.
can't really stress that enough. I mean, I was listening to KREF, and they were running down their high school sports, and they talked about this game.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is kind of one of those things where you guys are being talked about this week because this is kind of a playoff matchup.
Yes, this is this could be for the perennial or the potential. Let me say district title.
Right.
The winner of this game will have a step up
Right.
on everybody else, and
because there's no district title game. It's just in the middle of the
no,
season.
it's just whoever has the best record,
Right.
wins. And so if we we get this win after we get this win tomorrow night, then we've got to go take care of business, finish out the schedule and don't let anybody slip up on us. But whoever wins tomorrow night is going to have a leg up on everybody else.
So what's it been like kind of keep these guys? I mean, it's already a short week with fall break.
Right.
You're coming off an 81-34 win, and you've got a really good team. What's the balance been like between like keeping these guys on earth and keeping them hyped up enough to go and beat this team?
Well, really they've kind of done that themselves.
Sure.
They know that we're taking it 1 week at a time, one game at a time. And like I explained one time to the boys, there's 7 steps to win a district title. Well, we've got 3 of them down. This is just step 4.
Right.
So each game is a step, higher up that ladder every week. And we get to the top of the steps, we'll be district champs.
Absolutely.
So the kids have had a good practice this week. It was, like I say, a short week. And then we had a junior high game Monday night. So that Monday was actually our Tuesday practice. It was cut short. So yesterday we kind of got everything in, offensively and defensively in a little bit longer practice. And then today we did our walkthrough and had a good practice today.
All right. Hey, Mark Barrett on the Love County Coaches Show, and good luck to you guys tomorrow.
Well,
I'm really
rooting
for you. I know Love County's behind you guys. They're ready. It's been a long time coming down there for these guys, so it's an exciting time in Thackerville. When we come back, we will have the head coach of the Marietta Indians, Alex Doby, with us to discuss their big game against Davis upcoming tomorrow night. And back here with you on the Love County Coaches Show, Bryson here with you, and I've got here with me head coach of the Marietta Indians, Alex Doby. Coach, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right.
Good to have you here. It's a short week, of course, fall break, different things like that. You guys coming off a loss against Tishomingo this week. Let's talk about it. Just wasn't able to get the offense going this week.
No, and I thought we had a pretty good week of practice, and you know, I've talked about it till I'm blue in the face. These young guys are like riding a roller coaster.
Absolutely.
Even pregame, we're going through and they're fired up, and then first snap of the ball game, they just
one of those things.
Yeah, and then they're not mature enough to respond, to adversity yet, and that's my job to get them there, but that's been the struggle.
So talk to me about the game. Didn't get to go, unfortunately, with it being on the road. And talk to me about the quarterback situation. I know you guys are kind of flip-flopping around. What's going on there? What'd you see on Friday night?
It's just one of them things. I think one has a lot of heart and really, really desire to do it, and just struggles a little bit with the operating part of it, and the other one has a great handle on the operating part of it, and then just kind of trying to figure out if he really wants to do it or not, and offensive line wise, we're starting to figure out who really wants to play, but will they play every snap, or will they get hit in the mouth and then kind of go, okay, I don't want to play this next one, and the biggest issue for us is, we came into the season thinking we were going to have somebody like a 1,500-yard back, and with that O-line being so disrupted, and that kid is kind of, we're moving him out to receiver just to try to add some speed out there on the perimeter.
Sure.
And so there's been frustration from him. He's a senior. I love him to death, and we've had conversations. He got a little, I guess, he was lucky last year because he had seniors in front of him, and when they would wrap around and kick and stuff, it was really clean. Yeah. And now it's not. And just trying to get him to understand that every down that you're going to have to stick your nose in there and maybe get a yard instead of it going all the way down for a touchdown.
You're not going to break every play.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of been the message. And with the older kids, they're frustrated, but there's only 5 seniors. And one of them's hurt. He's on the shelf. He's probably our best lineman. So it's been a grind.
So that one 40-0 against Tishomingo this week. Before we talk about Davis, I want to talk about and highlight you guys had a state championship, and I don't think we can talk about that enough. Girls powerlifting, of course. It's an awesome thing. That was last year.
Yes, it's been in the spring of last year.
Yeah, and I think we saw each other at a powerlifting meet in 2021. And you told me, hey, we're like 2 or 3 years away from these girls and boys bringing home a ring.
Right.
And then you brought one home the next spring. So what's that experience been like? And talk to people about how instrumental powerlifting is to these other sports that you guys play. Because a lot of people think that powerlifting is a bunch of football guys, but you guys won girls powerlifting. You know what I mean? So talk to me about that.
Oh, gosh, if you're thinking about girls, there's been a few of them girls that have joined, and their whole self-esteem, their whole self-confidence, self-worth has skyrocketed.
Sure.
I've got a senior this year named Melanie Ortiz, and her goal is to win an individual as well as repeat as a team this year. And I almost would characterize as cocky.
Yeah.
She walks around and she knows she's really strong, and she's worked really hard at it. And, she's got that state championship to prove it, and she's going to get a ring tomorrow night. And it has created a little bit of an atmosphere that if you really show up and you commit, because they didn't roll out of bed. They're not talented enough to just roll out of bed and squat 500 pounds.
Yeah. Trust me. I don't think Connor or I are doing that anytime soon.
They are representative of when you buy in and you really sell out and commit to something. This is the result.
Right.
And we've got to keep that going throughout all our athletics. And that's a lot of them play softball. A lot of them run track or throw. We're getting one of the strongest girls back. She was on the shelf last year with knee injuries. And she's a state champ shot put thrower as a sophomore, and she's fully healed up, ready to go. And so now you're adding that into our mix of pretty much this year. It's don't mess it up. And
Absolutely.
these girls are so hungry to repeat and put another championship up. So my job is to just drive the bus and not get in the way, provide the opportunity for them.
Absolutely. So you guys are going to honor them. I think I'm going to actually get to do that. So that's awesome for
Yes.
me. And 7 p.m. tomorrow night,
Right.
before you guys kick off, come out, support these girls, get lots of pictures, different things like that. I mean, it's a great thing. I don't know when the last time Love County brought home a state championship in anything was, but it's been a while.
No, we
And so this is a big deal. This needs to be a big community thing for sure.
2019 or fall of 2020, they won cross country.
Yeah,
And,
right.
When COVID hit, they were going to win it in track, and that,
Right.
that's that COVID. I think this senior group I have, and even the juniors are still kind of the leftover, the hangover of that COVID shutdown and
anytime somebody says the word COVID,
Right,
I immediately
right.
think Alex Doby because of your first football season.
My goodness.
So, hey, tomorrow night, you've got Davis, Marietta, kind of been a thing the past couple of years. Of course, Davis, traditionally kind of a powerhouse, haven't been as good, but it seems like they're picking up speed again pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, it is Davis. It's in the water there. So what have you seen on film from them this year?
Coach Parker's got him rolling. His son was the senior quarterback last year, and
Yeah.
I felt like I was on defense coaching against him. You'd set a different front, and the kid would just check and run the show. This year they have an operator, and then unfortunately I think he got rolled up in the middle of the Kingston game, and you're like, okay, like as a competitor, I'm thinking, okay, maybe we're going to get a backup in there, and unfortunately it's Coach Owens' son, who's a freshman named Dax Owens, and he is a lightning bolt, and if he's anything half as like his dad, it's gonna be a tough go, because that I know his dad was a scrapper.
Sure.
And I mean, structure-wise, they actually have gotten out of what they normally would do. They're in the gun, they're running open and some stuff, that kind of stuff that we've done in the past, and what we've kind of moved towards. I think they're doing that because they've kind of been a pretty good ball team. But when you get into the playoffs now and you're running into Washington or Community Christian, and they can spread it out, and you're going to have to be able to do something at some point to put up a lot of points. Being in the wishbone, you run out of time.
Absolutely.
And so they've been adaptive, and it's pretty good. Defensively, they got a really physical D-line. We're going to do some stuff scheme-wise to try to help our youngsters out. Maybe getting some duos and some ace calls off of it, and make their linebackers make the play, and hopefully hold that line of scrimmage a little more steady. And I mean, there's going to be some stuff. We've got some stuff in our back pocket we've been kind of saving for this, and we're going to see if it's going to roll out and maybe give us a little bit of a spark.
So, like all year, we've talked about small goals, and I feel like a small goal this week, obviously, is to just put some points on the board. I mean, what do you think the biggest hurdle is going to be on Friday night to do that?
I think it's going to be consistent. I think if we can understand that you're not going to hit 10-yard runs every time you touch the rock, you're going to have to be okay with a 2nd and 8 and understand 2 yards wasn't terrible. It wasn't a negative play.
Isn't it wild how we've gone from 3 yards in a cloud of dust to everybody wants a 20-yard rush?
Absolutely. and that's indicative of generation.
Sure.
Now I want it now. And we're going to be a tough physical football team, especially over the next couple of years with this group. I mean, that's the mentality. We practice really physical. It's just getting them to understand that right now you're going against somebody that's probably 18, 19 years old, and you're a 14-year-old kid. But can you win half the snaps? Can you at least give it a shot, and keeping them focused on that? The seniors are going to fight their rear off. They understand they got 4 games left in their career, and they practice with their hair on fire. They're, and our young guys need to play and try to match that for those guys, because they have paid some dues while they've been at Marietta over the last 10 years in football. This is the last group that I'm replacing. They had 2 coaches in junior high before I got here, and they're kind of rolling. They're the last group that's filling that out. The junior group a little bit, but just because of the C word, the COVID.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't say it. Don't say it. Hey, that's Coach Doby right over here with me on the Love County Coaches Show. Good luck to you guys tomorrow night. Glad to be there. It's a home game. Come out and watch. Be sure to get there early for the ceremony for girls powerlifting. And when we come back, we'll wrap up with some sponsors. I'm sure Connor will hop over here with me, and we will be right back with you. Hey, back here with you on the Love County Coaches Show. Bryson here with you. I've got Connor Choate with me. We're live from the Taste here in downtown Marietta. Be sure to come down sometime, visit us if we're down here. I'm sure they may fix them a plate or something.
I'm sure they would.
Really want to thank, obviously, the Marietta Monitor, Quality Printing and Designs, your Oklahoma Farm Bureau agent, Sam Barrick, Arbuckle Title and Abstract, American Nation Bank, and the 20 MSP for being on the show. Connor, big week kind of in your world. You went and covered some softball this week, I think, and, had some involvement there. You guys got the paper out today, so that's good. All is good in your world, isn't it?
Hey, everything's good in our world. Yeah, unfortunately, Lady Falcons fell in the state championship, but what an honor for them to get that far. Even if they lost.
One run in the state championship game. So.
Yeah, and they scored. So actually, how it kind of played out. Now, I didn't get to go in person. I sent a photographer there.
Yeah.
We'll have a photo gallery tomorrow up live, and we have a big page on the back page for it too. But it kind of played out where I think Tupelo had scored one run and maybe the second or third inning.
Mm-hmm.
And then towards the end of the game, right in the seventh inning, they scored two more runs. Turner bounces back at the end of the seventh and scored two runs too, one run away, and they get, 3 outs and the game's over. So tough loss for them because they had beaten Tupelo twice in the regular season.
Right.
And pretty handedly. I think one game was close, but the other game might have been 2 or 3 runs, beat them. So just unfortunate. I guess third time was a charm for Tupelo.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, this week we had Marietta travel to Colgate.
Tisch.
No, Tisch.
Yep.
Yeah, Tisch. And that one, a 40-0 loss. Thackerville 81-34.
I think that's about right. It's like a basketball score.
Wow, man. And I know Mark, he sits over there and he's so cool about it, but that's teams don't do that, folks.
Even in 8-man. Yeah.
I've covered some 8-man ball in my day, and it's not those are rare. So I know he had to have been excited on Friday night, a lot more excited than he acted just now, for sure. So fun week though. They've got Mod. That's definitely. I wasn't lying whenever I said that's a premier matchup. I think that is going to be probably the game of the week in 8-man ball. Because it's that district championship. I assume are you 2 home games this week for you guys. So which one are you going to get to go to?
I mean, for me too, the Thackerville game's game of the week. I mean, that's where I'm going to be. That's where I'm going to put a lot of my focus at this weekend, just because, or tomorrow, not this weekend.
Yeah.
So it's just.
If only we could get them to stagger those games, right? We could go to both.
Or if they had better light too. It's really dark in that stadium to try to shoot photos. But yeah, that's where I'm going to be at. I think that's the game of the week, the game that Love County should be focused on. Huge implications. Mod's 5-1 or 6-1, I think. Thackerville and Mod are both neck and neck right now in district. That's going to pretty much lay up the state championship playoff or the state playoff picture. So I think that's the game to go to. Unfortunately, Marietta is just in the position they're in. I think you can tell from Coach Dobie and how he talks. I mean, it's just an unfortunate situation for them. I think it'd be worth going and attending to definitely go see the girls get their state championship rings for their achievement of winning powerlifting state championship.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that would be worth going to. But as far as football implications, man, this game, I'm really excited about Thackerville tomorrow night. It's
Absolutely.
Gonna be a fun game.
Same here. And hey, thank you so much for allowing us to do this. Once again, we can't thank the Taste enough. Is there anything that you needed?
Just thank you to our sponsors, everybody watching. That's what makes this show possible.
Yeah.
And of course the Taste for hosting us. And we invite everybody out to come to these events, to these live streams anytime that they want to. We've got a PA system, right?
I know, that was cool.
We can play some music. We can, you guys can listen to us talk, but I would love to have the community out just to show some support.
I was late last week. And you had the speakers up, and there was a crowd in here. I felt like I was like being ushered into the Ryman or something like that to go perform.
You're
it was
a big
great.
Deal now.
Yeah, that's it. I'm a big deal. Hey, on that note, we're out of here. Thank you so much, the Love County Coaches Show, and we'll see you next week, next Thursday night,
Yes, sir.
for this thing.